I don't think it's a good idea for him to revoke the Medal of Freedom. Back with Judy, Ariva, Dave, because I think, Ariva, to what you were saying the other day, that he was an important figure culturally.
Yes.
And he deserves an acknowledgement for that. It's rather than the ad hominem argument that he's a bad guy, and we haven't really shown that yet. It's okay that he be acknowledged for what he did for African Americans and for our country at one time.
Yeah, I think what's important about what the president did today was he acknowledged those victims. And when you have the president of the United States and the stature of his office stand up and acknowledge rape victims, that's a huge point that was made today for women, for advocates. As a lawyer that represents women in situations like the women that have come forward, the 40 or so women, that's incredible. So I think the president just, hit it out the park for women, for advocates who are standing up saying this is reprehensible conduct.
He may not have a mechanism to revoke it, but I'm pretty sure he just revoked it right there, right?
Well,
like that was it. And
I heard that he would like to revoke it.
But I think that was his way of saying it. And last week I said to you that I think you could draw a real through line between the Cosby Show and Barack Obama becoming the first African-American president, because he portrayed black people in a certain way. And comedians, especially for the black community, from Dick Gregory to Richard Pryor to Cosby to Chappelle to Chris Rock, they've helped the change. They've caused the change. That's why the Cosby thing is so conflicting for comics especially, but for everybody, because they've done so much important stuff.
Let me get a comment from the audience. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. So, I feel really bad about the situation, about the women that just came forward. But I just don't have, strong opinion like the rest of America, because there's a lot of things that are still left unsaid. Bill Cosby haven't even gotten a chance to speak up about the rape part of it.
The rape part of it, he got 7 prescriptions for Quaaludes to have sex with women. He said that on the record.
Yeah.
But you could argue that we shouldn't have had access to that record. I get that argument, because that judge opened it up based on his moralizing, which is a weird argument, Ariva, but okay.
Enter the public forum.
There you go.
Churches, community halls, not just what he did as a comedian. He became this public figure beyond what he does as an entertainer.
The moralizing.
It made him fair game.
The moralizing.
The moralizing.
Well, so we now know that he got 7 prescriptions for a crazy medication with the intent to have sex. Didn't say he gave it, but that was his intent. That's already pretty wacky.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue with you. Like,
you can, it's okay.
So, I get that part. I just don't have a strong opinion about, Bill Cosby is this, Bill Cosby is that.
Do you think he's being unnecessarily attacked in the public?
I think the attack is a little harsh.
It feels bad.
Wow. Yeah. And
why?
Because it's so many years later, and
it doesn't feel right to you.
It just doesn't feel right.
Let me bring in on Skype Angela Rose. She is director of PAVE. That's an acronym for Promoting Awareness Victim Empowerment. Her group started the petition to revoke Bill Cosby's Presidential Medal of Freedom. Are you disappointed in what the president said today?
Well, I am a little disappointed, Dr. Drew, and I see that you said in the last segment about a galvanizing moment. And this is a galvanizing moment for the notion of consent. There are young men and women, especially in high schools, on college campuses, where there is so much alcohol and drug-facilitated sexual assault.
Yes, ma'am. And that's rape. That's rape.
That's rape. Absolutely.
Yeah, the audience again. Sorry, Angela, hold on a second. Yes, sir.
I recall reading that he had purchased the Quaaludes. That's kind of nuts. It's very crazy, but that doesn't mean that he did it. And
he said, but he admitted under oath with the intent.
He had the intent, but that doesn't mean that he did it. If I go and buy a gun and I intend to shoot somebody, but I don't shoot them, am I guilty of shooting them? No, I'm not. Absolutely
not. So, Dr. Drew, what I'm hearing from your audience members and also really from the public is that there is that conflict, right? Because Bill Cosby represented this person on TV.
Yeah.
And now it's really hard for people to wrap their heads around completely changing their views about him. And even his co-star, Joseph Phillips, said today, please just go live a quiet country life so that some of us can still preserve our image of you. It's almost like people are begging him to just not confirm that it happened.
How do you hold a human to portray somebody perfect that he did on TV in his regular life? Everybody makes mistakes.
This is not just about being perfect. He allegedly raped over 50 women.
Allegedly.
I understand, but they all didn't know each other, and I don't like the fact that people are trying to dictate when victims should come forward and talk about their story. Not all victims even come forward because of the victim blaming that they received. This is a widespread phenomenon.
Could it not easily be that they're seeing dollar signs? It's Bill Cosby.
Nobody asked for money half the time. Half of them didn't even ask for money. That wasn't what it was about.
Let me get out to Angela. Angela, you must be encountering this kind of thinking a lot.
Well, absolutely. And when these women first came forward years and years ago, they were met with blame and disbelief and shame. As was mentioned, that we live in a very victim-blaming society.
Yes.
And we have come a long way, but we have a long way to go.
I think back then, you're talking about when this all started, there was a culture of misogyny, there was a culture of exploitation of women, and some of those women who did come forward to their employers were told to shut up.